Time, so I'm just going to go ahead and get into it. We're starting in Second Samuel, and this is a continuation of our ongoing. It was called the Snowball Bible Reading Plan. We started with all the small books, and we've worked our way up to the larger books. We've got about five different, maybe seven different books left to read, and here we are in Second Samuel. I'm reading out of the TS 2009, aka the Scriptures. So let's go ahead. And it came to be after the death of Saul, when David had returned from striking the Amalekites, that David remained 2 days in Ziklag. And it came to be on the third day that, see, a man came out of the camp from Saul with his garments torn and dust on his head. And it came to be, when he came to David, that he fell to the ground and did obeisance. And David said to him, from where do you come? And he said to him, I have escaped from the camp of Israel. And David said to him, what was the matter? Please inform me. And he said, the people have fled from the battle, and also many of the people have fallen and are dead. And Saul and Jonathan, or Jehonathan, his son, were dead too. And David said to the young man who informed him, how do you know that Saul and Jonathan his son are dead? And the young man who informed him said, by chance I was on Mount Gilboa, and saw Saul leaning on his spear, and see, the chariots and horsemen followed hard after him. And when he looked behind him, he saw me, and called to me, and I answered, here I am. And he said to me, who are you? So I answered him, I am an Amalekite. And he said to me, please stand over me and put me to death, for agony has seized me, but my life is still in me. So I stood beside him and put him to death, for I knew he would not live after he had fallen. And I took the diadem that was on his head and the bracelet that was on his arm, and have brought them here to my master. And David took hold of his garments and tore them, and also all the men who were with him. And they mourned and wept and fasted until evening for Saul and for Jonathan his son, and for the people of Yahuwah and for the house of Israel, because they had fallen by the sword. Then David asked the young man who informed him, where are you from? And he answered, I am the son of a sojourner, an Amalekite. And David said to him, how was it you were not afraid to stretch out your hand to destroy the anointed of Yahuwah? And David called one of the young men and said, draw near and fall on him. And he struck him so that he died. And David said to him, your blood is on your own head, for your own mouth has witnessed against you, saying, I myself have put to death the anointed of Yahuwah. Then David lamented with his lamentation over Saul and Jonathan his son. And he ordered the bow to be taught to the children of Judah. See, it is written in the book of Jasher, the splendor of Israel is slain on your high places. How the mighty have fallen. Declare declare it not in Gath. Proclaim it not in the streets of Ashkelon. Lest the daughters of the Philistines rejoice, lest the daughters of the uncircumcised exult. Mountains of Gilboa, no dew or rain be upon you, nor fields of offerings. For there the shield of the mighty lay rejected, and the shield of Saul not anointed with oil. From the blood of the slain, from the fat of the mighty, the bow of Jonathan did not turn back, and the sword of Saul did not return empty. Saul and Jonathan were beloved and pleasant in their lives, and in their death they were not spared. They were not parted. They were swifter than eagles. They were stronger than lions. Daughters of Israel, weep over Saul, who wrapped you in scarlet with finery, who decked your robes with ornaments of gold. How the mighty have fallen in the midst of battle. Jonathan was slain in your high places. I am distressed for you, my brother Jonathan. You have been very pleasant to me. Your love to me was wondrous, surpassing the love of women. How the mighty have fallen, and the weapons of battle perish. Chapter 2. And it came to be afterwards that David inquired of Yahuwah, saying, Do I go up to any of the cities of Judah? And Yahuwah said to him, Go up. And David said, Where should I go up? And he said, To Hebron. And David went up there, as well as his two wives, Ahinoam and the Israelites, and Abigail, the widow of Nabal the Carmelite. And David brought up the men who were with him, each man with his own household, and they dwelt in the cities of Hebron. And the men of Judah came and anointed David king over the house of Judah there. King over the house of Judah there, excuse me. They also reported to David saying, The men of Yabesh Gilead are they who buried Saul. David then sent messengers to the men of Yabesh Gilead, and said to them, You are blessed of Yahuwah, for you have shown this loving commitment to your master, to Saul, that you buried him. And now Yahuwah show loving commitment and truth to you, and I am also going to do to you because you have done this deed. And now let your hand be strengthened and be brave, for your master Saul is dead, and also the house of Judah has anointed me king over them. But Abner, son of Ner, commander of the army of Saul, took Ishbosheth, the son of Saul, and brought him over to Mahanaim, and set him up to reign over Gilead, and over the Asherites, and over Israel, and over Ephraim, and over Benjamin, and over Israel. Ishbosheth, son of Saul, was 40 years old when he began to reign over Israel, and he reigned 2 years. Only the house of Judah followed David. The time that David was king in Hebron over the house of Judah was 7 years and 6 new moons. And Abner, son of Ner, and the servants of Ishbosheth, son of Saul, went out from Mahanaim to Gibeon. And Joab, son of Zeruiah, and the servants of David went out and met them by the pool of Gibeon. And they sat down, one on one side of the pool, and the other on the other side of the pool. And Abner said to Joab, Let the young men now rise and compete before us. And Joab said, Let them rise. And they rose and went over by number, 12 from Benjamin, followers of Ishbosheth, son of Saul, and 12 from the servants of David. And each man took hold of his opponent by the head, and thrust his sword in his opponent's side. And they fell down together, so that place was called the field of sharp swords, which is in Gibeon. And the battle was fierce that day. And Abner, the men of Israel, were smitten before the servants of David. And there were 3 sons of Zeruiah. There. Joab, and Abishai, and Asahel. And Asahel was light on his feet, as one of the gazelles in the field. And Asahel pursued Abner, and in going he did not turn aside to the right or left from following Abner. And Abner looked behind him and said, Are you Asahel? And he answered, I am. And Abner said to him, Turn aside to your right hand or to your left, and lay hold of one of your young men, and take his armor for yourself. But Asahel would not turn aside from following him. And Abner said to Asahel, Turn aside from following me. Why should I strike you to the ground? How then could I face your brother Joab? But he refused to turn aside. And Abner struck him with the blunt end of the spear in the stomach, so that the spear came out of his back. And he fell down there and died on the spot. And it came to be that As many as came to the place where Asahel fell down and died stood there. And Joab and Abishai pursued Abner, and the sun was going down, and they came to the hill of Ammah, which overlooks Giah, by the way of the wilderness of Gibeon. And the children of Benjamin gathered together behind Abner, and became a single company, and took their stand on top of a hill. And Abner called to Joab and said, Should the sword devour forever? Do you not know that it is bitter in the latter end? And when are you going to say to the people to turn back from pursuing their brothers? And Joab said, As Elohim lives, if you had not spoken, then all the people would have given up pursuing their brothers only the next morning. Joab then blew with a shofar, and all the people halted and pursued Israel no further. Nor did they fight any more. And Abner and his men went on all that night through the desert plain, and passed over the Jordan, and went through all Bithron. And they came to Mahanaim. And Joab turned back from pursuing Abner. And when he had gathered all the people together, there were missing of David's servants 19 men and Asahel. And the servants of David, but the servants of David had stricken of Benjamin and Abner's men 360 men who died. And they brought Asahel and buried him in his father's burial site, which is in Bethlehem. And Joab and his men went all night, and they came to Hebron at daybreak. We're at chapter 3. Do you know what time it is? I don't have my watch on me. It's 8:30. Okay. I think we'll go for one more chapter. We got to jump on a call at 9 o'clock, so we're gonna keep our. It's gonna be a short one today. I just wanted to make sure I'm not letting it go months in between keeping up with this Bible plan. Chapter 3. And the fighting between the house of Saul and the house of David was long drawn out. But David was going on and was strong, and the house of Saul was going on and was weak. And the sons were born to David in Hebron. And the firstborn was Ammon by Ahinoam, the Israelitess, and his second, Caleb, by Abigail, the widow of Nabal the Carmelite, and the third, Absalom, son of Maacah, the daughter of Talmai, king of Geshur, and the fourth, Adoniah, son of Haggith, and the fifth, Shaphatah, son of Abital, and the sixth, Yithream, by David's wife Eglah. These were born to David in Hebron. And it came to be, while there was fighting between the house of Saul and the house of David, that Abner was strengthening himself in the house of Saul. And Saul had a concubine whose name was Ritzpah, daughter of Aiah. And Ishbosheth said to Abner, Why have you gone into my father's concubine? And Abner was very displeased at the words of Ishbosheth, and said, Am I a dog's head that belongs to Judah, that I show loving commitment to the house of Saul your father, to his brothers, and to his friends today, and have not let you fall into the hands of David, that you charge me today with the sin concerning this woman? Elohim does so to Abner, and more also, if I do not do for David as Yahuwah has sworn to him, to cause the kingdom to pass over from the house of Saul, and to raise up the throne of David over Israel and over Judah, from Dan to Beersheba. And he was unable to answer Abner another word, because he feared him. And Abner sent messengers on his behalf to David, saying, Whose is the land? saying also, make your covenant with me, and see, my hand is with you to bring all Israel to you. And David said, good, I make a covenant with you. Only one matter I am asking of you. You do not see my face unless you first bring Michal, daughter of Saul, when you come to see my face. David then sent out messengers to Ishbosheth, son of Saul, saying, give me my wife Michal, to whom I became engaged for 100 foreskins of the Philistines. And Ishbosheth sent and took her from her husband, from Paltiel, son of Laish. But her husband went with her to Bahurim, going on and weeping behind her. And Abner said to him, go, turn back. And he turned back. And Abner had a word with the elders of Israel, saying, in time past you were seeking for David to be king over you, and now do it. For Yahuwah has spoken of David, saying, by the hand of my servant David I saved my people Israel from the hand of the Philistines and the hand of all their enemies. And Abner also spoke in the hearing of Benjamin, and Abner also went to speak in the hearing of David in Hebron all that seemed good to Israel and all the house of Benjamin. And Abner and 20 men with him came to David at Hebron. And David made a feast for Abner and the men who were with him. And Abner said to David, let me arise and go and gather all Israel to my master the king, and let them make a covenant with you, and you shall reign over all that your being desires. And David sent Abner away, and he went in peace. And see, the servants of David and Joab came from the raid and brought much spoil with them. But Abner was not with David in Hebron, for he had sent him away, and he had gone in peace. And Joab and all the army that was with him came, and they reported to Joab, saying, Abner, son of Ner, came to the king, and he was sent away, and he has gone in peace. And Joab went to the king and said, what have you done? See, Abner has come to you. Why is it that you sent him away, and he has already gone? You know that Abner, son of Ner, came to deceive you, to know your going out and your coming in, and to know all that you are doing. Joab then left David, and he sent messengers after Abner, and brought him back from the well of Sirah. But David did not know it. Thus Abner returned to Hebron, and Joab took him aside in the gate to speak with him privately, and there struck him in the stomach, so that he died, for the blood of Asahel his brother. And when David heard it afterward, he said, my reign and I are guiltless before Yahuwah forever of the blood of Abner, son of Ner. Let it rest on the head of Joab and on all his father's house, and let there never fail to be in the house of Joab one who has a discharge or a leper, or is a leper, or is a or who is taking hold of a staff, or falls by the sword, or who lacks bread. So Joab and Abishai his brother killed Abner, because he had killed their brother Asahel in Gibeon in the battle. And David said to Joab and to all the people who were with him, tear your garments, gird yourself with sackcloth, and mourn for Abner. And King David followed the coffin. And they buried Abner in Hebron. And the king lifted up his voice and wept at the burial site of Abner, and all the people wept. And the king sang a lament over Abner, and said, should Abner die as a fool dies? Your hands are not bound, nor your hands were not bound, nor your feet put into shackles. As one falls before sons of evil, so you fell. And all the people wept over him again. And all the people came to cause David to eat food while it was still day. But David swore, saying, Elohim, do so to me, and more also, if I taste bread or whatever else, till the sun goes down. And all the people took note of it, and it was good in their eyes, since whatever the king did was good in the eyes of all the people. And all the people and all Israel knew that day that it had not been the king's intent to kill Abner, son of Ner. The king also said to his servants, "Do you not know that a prince and a great one has fallen in Israel today? And I am weak today, though anointed king, and these men, the sons of Sariah, are too harsh for me. Let Yahuwah repay the evildoer according to his evil." Chapter 4. And chapter 4 is where we will pick up when we, I can't see any, oh cool, I see chats now. Chapter 4 is where we will pick up when we read next time. I see we got a handful of people in here. Trust and Obey, JS Genesis Designs, The Encouraging Community, Truth in the Word, Jay Zadik, Shalom Brother, Travis Bolt, Bethany. All right, Shalom guys, thanks for hanging out. I know this is a quick one. Whether we just chip away and just keep on reading, we'll read as much as we can. I can always jump on here to do the lives, but I got to make sure follow through and finish up this Bible reading plan. I really want to finish what we started and move on to doing a little different format where we can really kind of dig in a little deeper and not so much just like reading through everything, but kind of do more of a study type of format. Yeah, I agree. Good to start with the word. It's a habit that I want to get into more. Oftentimes I just throw on audio Bible, and that's actually why I started doing these in the first place, is because I wanted to discipline myself to actually stop and make time to read with my own eyes, the words. And nothing wrong. I like audio Bible. I'm probably always going to listen to audio Bible. Audiobooks are a big thing. I listen to audiobooks every day. But yeah, this is it's different. I feel like it's more intentional. And but anyways, I appreciate you guys hanging out. I hope you have a blessed day. Love you guys, and we'll catch you in the next video. Shalom.